now joined on the line by Cyril Farrell to look ahead to this weekend's All Ireland Semi-Final between Galway and Clare. And I suppose, Cyril, it's been a very productive season for Galway. Its momentum has been key following on from that All Ireland victory, and it seems like there's a sense of calmness, a sense of positivity around the Galway camp, and they seem to be in good fettle going into this weekend's semi-final against Clare.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. When you win All Ireland, it gives you great confidence. Like in Galway, we're no different to anyone else. They grew in confidence, and might have played a league game, as missing a few fellas just kind of went through the league, through the motions, but they did well to retain the Leinster Championship. Got a nice shock the first day, got them back on track, and kind of proved the world champions the second day. And now they're facing their neighbours Clare, who, Clare will know the goal as inside out. They'll definitely rise them and kind of form about the win. But Galway would still be, they'll be favourites to win in the sense that they have a lot of firepower. They're very balanced around the field, whereas Clare seem to be coming at the right time. Their forwards carry a lot of power, but it's up to the in and out of backs are going out. Really, that'll be the win or losing of the game.
Yeah, and the spine of the Galway team has been impressive throughout, from Daithí Burke to Garrod McInerney to the Manions to Joe Canning, even to young Whelan on side, who's firing in all cylinders, and Cooney as well. So there's an awful lot of, I would say, maybe big time players in that Galway team, right down through the spine, and maybe those key sort of battles down the middle, maybe Galway might pip Clare in just a few of them, but still Clare be looking for John Conlan, Tony Kelly and David McInerney. If those three get on top, it could make for an interesting game.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt about it. Since Garrett McInerney made number 6 his own for Galway, it's like a piece of the jigsaw that was missing. The whole lot is tightened up, and Daithí Burke full back. Both of them are very strong. Now, Garrod is very strong in the air. Both the wing backs, Mannion and Half, kind of sweeping behind them, kind of do all the kind of hurling. The power or the engine of the team is there. But undoubtedly, you'd have to say that the Kilkenny forward or the Clare forwards seem to have a lot of power. Like Tony Kelly coming back to himself, John Conlan probably having the season of his life, Peter Duggan, stepping up, like I saw him last year with Cooney Quinn, winning the county final nearly on his own. And then you have David Reedy, you have Donald, and you have Collins. They're all power and great stuff. So I expect Podge again to be picked corner forward. He'll wind up going out midfield, to play through on the inside. They will try to run at the goal defence and take Daithí Burke and Gary McInerney out of the comfort zone, because there's no doubt about it. If they can get on top of our full back and centre back, Galway will be in trouble, because that's where they're very strong. But I would say Clare have a plan for that. You must remember now that they have Gavin Cleary up there coaching as well from Galway, from Lochray and Galway, good lad, and he would know the goal. No, there's no one other anyway, but Gavin would know them inside out from coaching them, some of them as young lads, but also from playing against them. And it will give Clare good insight into what's coming. They'll know it anyway, Jim, but they'll definitely know it from Gavin,
And do you think maybe that Clare maybe is surprised? Many people were surprised that maybe they expected a ding-dong battle with Wexford, but Wexford were a bit maybe flat on the day. They just couldn't rise to it, Wexford, for whatever reason. Even Davy himself wasn't his usual self, and Wexford were a bit of flat, so Clare sort of were never in trouble of really losing that game from early on, and maybe it was morale, confidence boosting win, but at the same time they weren't put to their pin of their collars, and they're coming up against the All Ireland champions now. They're probably 2 or 3 levels above that. Is that not really the practice you need going into Galway playing a sort of flat Wexford?
Yeah, well, Clare couldn't beat what's in front of them. You'd have to say, even the first day out against Cork, in that match, I thought they were very unlucky. Below on Cork, I thought they were lucky not to get a few goals. They could have actually won the match and wound up losing. And they picked up the season as it went on. But against Wexford, they did what they had to do. Maybe Wexford kind of thought too much about Clare without to stop them more than played their own game and wound up kind of getting caught up, kind of not hurling at all. But Clare, you have to remember, Jim, that Clare, most of these guys have won the senior All Ireland, the league. They all have won under 21s and they've won colleges, Fitzgibbon. They're used to winning and they're used to playing. And now it's hard to believe that they haven't been back in 4 or 5 years in Croke Park with the talent they have, and now that they're back there, they have a good record against Galway, and they'll show no fear. And to be just like Clare playing Limerick, the form will go out the window. It doesn't matter who's the form. There's no doubt Galway are the favourites going in, but that's kind of coming as much from last year as this year, and they'll have to do it all over again. Galway want to play like they played against Kilkenny the first half of last day. wouldn't want to play like they played against Kilkenny in the draw in Ulster final, because they were very flat that day, and if they got lucky to get out, like the game went on for Ulster, that's why Kilkenny were getting to the top. Now they got the wake up call, and they were very good the first half especially. Got hit with a few sucker goals against Kilkenny, but that probably did them a power good, because that fight on again, like they are proven, and that, you know, like the last day I thought David Buck and Johnny Coleman had a great first half especially, whereas the day before they weren't like themselves at all. So like it all depends on on the day what you're going to do. But definitely Galway will feel if they get their game going, and if Clare get their game going, that they have the talent to beat them. But it doesn't always work out that way. And again, you're going to find the man in the middle have a big say, but also the free take. If you were a free taker and take say 8 out of 9 or 9 out of 10 over the bar, they'll keep you in the game the whole time, and it'll come down to that. But Tony Kelly back on form again, Paul Collins back on form, John Conlan probably the season of his life, you know what I mean, David Reedy kind of popping up everywhere. The forwards of Clare will definitely cause problems to the Galway backs. There's no one that's run at me yet. If they get a good supply, they could cause a shock, but that'll be up to Galway to cut off that supply. And you'd have to say the Galway half back line midfield, that's the engine of the Galway team, and they do look strong.
Yeah, and I suppose many people would say that maybe that Galway probably have the advantage in midfield, but we all know Colm Galvin, the qualities he has, if he produces his maximum game, that could make that a more 50-50 encounter. But many people are wondering, and I suppose, Cyril, I'm going to ask you, do you think Clare will designate someone to man-mark Joe Canning, or will they go like for like, and wherever Joe starts, whoever's on that spot will just pick him up?
Yeah, well, it's not either start centre forward or say wing forward, but like the numbers don't really matter anymore. You know what I mean? The numbers on the lads back doesn't matter. But Joe's playing very well centre forward, and the stand in the middle goes out a good bit midfield, good enough to get onto the ball and clip it like left to right, lay it off or go for scores. He's an exceptional hurler, but he's playing that kind of role centre forward very, very good really. But again, I think Clare will man mark them. They're not going to let them get loose. You can't afford them to do that. But every man will have to pick up who they're on. And you see, one side you have Shane O'Morey, who's very, very fast. Will be going up to the field of the ball, and the other side in you have Jamie Shannon, who's a brilliant hurler. You know, great wrist, will pin the ball. If Galway will man loose, he'd be pinning them all day. Brilliant hurler. Maybe he wouldn't have the pace of Morey, but very few people have. Galway will try to get at that careful back line. That's what they're trying to hit. David McInerney's having a game of the year of his life, I suppose. And you'd have to say the two guys, everyone is saying they'll get caught, but Pat O'Connor and Jeff Brown, they haven't got caught yet. As actual fact, they're getting better and better as it goes on. And again, they will know their markers very, very well. Galway will know they're in a match, but they will try to get as much ball as they can in there. And Galway will have a quandary as well, Jim. Who they like to have? They have 8 forwards, they're kind of good enough to get off. Yeah. Usually they're their own pick, Jason Flynn, beyond most teams, isn't on the Galway team. And now they'll decide probably between Conor Cooney or Johnny Dwayne or Joe Cooney. There's a toss-up there, but they would have more strength in the forwards than in the back. That's what we looked at in Galway anyway. And
I suppose many people Clare are looking at it in relation to here and saying you have an all-star fullback in Daithí Burke, probably who's definitely in line. Many people are saying for the full forward spot in the all-star team of the year, and that's John Conlan. And I suppose it's going to be Daithí Burke's biggest test of the year if Clare launch balls in top of Conlan. Conlan has won all his battles so far this year throughout the Munster Hurling Championship. He's been on top of every single battle that has been thrown in front of him. But do you think that
Conlan's having a great season? He's a great player, great club player. I'd say now only in line for an all-star way, but he'd be in line for player of the year the way he's put on. And if Clare can keep winning, he's definitely going to be up there. Daithí is going back to himself. He's still on the league tied up with Cora Finn. Now he's coming back into it. But we're all expecting a big battle there. Depending on the kind of ball John is getting, but Clare could throw the cat among the pigeons if they didn't start John full forward. Most of them started the small little lad full forward, on Daithí, just the small little lad be twisted and turning and maybe not leave them there. If you can take Daithí away from the edge of the square, that would leave a gap. That's what you try to do. Otherwise it's played straight up. John will be there on the square, Daithí will be there on the square, it'll be man versus man. It actually suits the full back that way. I expect Clare to move around and cause a lot of problems that way. And, Peter Duggan, he's due a very, very big one. He's a good player. He could cause problems no matter where he plays against Galway, because again, he'd know them fellas inside out. So both sets of forwards look strong. Whichever set of backs Jim can kind of hold out to me, that's the win of the game, because both sets of forwards are very strong.
And I suppose, Cyril, if I can take you across now to the other semi-final on Sunday, Limerick against Cork, and many people are finding this one very, very hard to call. People are saying that Cork deservedly, because of Munster champions, they should hold the favourites tag, but many people are saying that even the Cork public are sceptical and wary of the threat that Limerick pose. And if you look at this one, it wouldn't be a major surprise if Limerick turned over Cork.
No, I saw them early on this year, June. I was very impressed with defending that Munster League, and they were trying to have their kind of game plan at that stage, walking the ball through the lines, get us in midfield, two midfielders dropping deep, getting the pass to the half-back line, and then switching the point of attack, and creating great pockets to the backs of play against a great space. Now, when it breaks down, it can look terrible, but when it works, and they've got better and better and better at it. Now, if Seamus Hardy is missing, there's doubts about it. If he's missing for Cork, he's a big, big loss. But then after saying that, like, Cork had retained the Munster title, and last year, Jim, they were very lucky in the semi-final, because if Conlan wasn't on top, so Meath were getting on top, they were 2 points up and kind of driving on. The next thing, guys stopped and the whole game turned. They could have been in the All Ireland final last year, so there won't be slight favourites, but it won't be any surprise if Limerick beat them.
Yeah, and I suppose many people will look and say that if you can stop Patrick Horgan, that's half the battle, and himself and Conor Lehan. But likewise, I suppose Limerick, if you look at the calibre of Limerick's bench, and you're saying to yourself that Shane Dowling is not a pronounced starter for Limerick, and he might even start to have the calibre of the players of Dowling's standard coming off the bench. Maybe if in a tight, close game, that Limerick's bench probably looks that bit stronger over Cork's.
Yeah, you have Dowling down, you have also that called Peter Casey, who's a tricky customer. I really believe that the Limerick full back line is coming right. I know English and Finn are hardy, fast, tough, tenacious, and you know, Casey got in full back is making his own. They are very, very tight and very strong. If they get the grips of the Cork full forward line, like it will be the win of the match for Limerick. Like, Limerick are very balanced in that, you know, but if you give this Cork team room to dance, they'll dance. But the day against Clare, when Limerick were hammered, like, if Finn got injured that day, he had to come off. And, like, you know, Tom Conlan got sent off. All their kind of backline, the whole thing fell apart. And even though they were hammered by 11 points, Jim, they still had as much play as Clare had, but didn't do anything with it. So the result was a little bit false. They've improved a ton since that again. Having beat the Limerick lads during the week, they're very, very confident. They believe that this is the year and that they can take Cork. Now, Cork will be the slight favourites, but like, again, like, it's anyone's game. And I think they're expecting over 70,000 in Grove Park, which would be a fantastic crowd for a semi-final.
Yeah, and I suppose, Cyril, before I leave you, Cyril, just in relation to that, I spoke to 1 or 2 Galway people there as well, and there's an awful lot of excitement about this minor Galway hurling team. They feel that it's probably a special sort of bunch of lads, and even though that they look very impressive, and is this Galway minor crew this year, is it one for the future?
Yeah, well, you'd have to say, like, that Jeff Radinsky, the manager, has done a fantastic job, because, like, by the time he took them over, all his backroom team were kind of gone to different teams. Like, Gavin Carey would have been with him, and he has a team now made up of fellas from all over. Like, there's a cornerback from Ballygar, football stronghold, a full back from Ballinasloe, a wing forward from Annatown. You know, they have lads from all kind of corners, even non-hurling corners, which is very, very unusual. They're a brand new team altogether, surprised everyone, and they're going from strength to strength. Now, it's getting the competition is getting hotter as they go along, but there's a corner forward there from Cyril and 2 fellas from Pearson. They're from unusual, they're not from, you know, the real big hurling names, like, you know, like St. Thomas's, or there's one lad there from Thomas, or Sarsfield, or, you know.
Would there be many Portumna lads, sir?
No for Portumna lads. It's unusual, like, in the sense there's a lot of them from football clubs, which is great to see. And they're kind of a fresh team, and kind of a brand new team, and a brand new management team, because Jeffrey, his backroom team with different places when they were finished at the minor. He had great success at finals, and in 3 years he won 2 titles and lost 1, which can, you know, it was going to happen anyway. But like, he's a successful manager and has done a great job, like, and OK is up against it. But I think they'll be slight favourites. I saw Dublin are nice, and a young lad playing them as Swan. That's full sport, deadly, kind of a goal poacher, good at football, good at soccer, and that kind of an attitude. But I think Galway overall will be good enough to beat them, to be more balanced. Yeah,
and last thing, I suppose the other minor semi-finals, Sir, Tipperary will be in action, the Munster champions. I saw a bit of Tipperary there, and the 9 dual players on that starting Tipperary team, Tommy Dunn over them, and they looked a big, powerful team. So from what I saw, they'll be strong contenders as well.
Yeah, like, but Kilkenny are improved also. I saw them twice, but the most unusual match I saw, Jim, was Tip against Waterford. And like, they're well on top, and they took off a few lads, I think, just to kind of give lads a run, and the next thing the game turned and Waterford won. I felt it was a game that Tip kind of lost themselves. Now, they are strong and they've improved since that. But Kilkenny have improved, like, even though they've been beaten once or twice, with the matches, Jim, they're all improving, you know. It's a very tight one. Maybe Tip will just get there, which will be a very tight call.
Cyril, pleasure as always talking to you, and for a neighbourly battle, and I know where your roots are and where my roots are, and hopefully anyway we'll all be coming out of Croke Park and we'll be saying that was a great game of hurling Saturday evening.
So the thing is, Jim, like, if we weren't playing Clare, and if Woodford ever would be shouting for Clare, that's the way it is, like, so we're very near them, but that's, you know, something to look forward to on Saturday, and let the team win.
Cheers. Thanks, sir. Bye.